Let me guess. You've got a husband, he's got a secretary. Am I warm?
The secretary's still a thing.
I think someone's
Hiding something.
Okay, so Big Bang. 2 bodies and a disappeared child. Maybe this case could go all the way to the top.
Well, maybe sort of all the way to the middle.
And that is a clip from the new TV show, Down Cemetery Road. One of its stars is Ruth Wilson. I'm delighted to say that she's on the podcast. Hello, Ruth. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm fine. Introduce us to Sarah and where we are as this new rollicking TV show begins.
Okay, so this is a show that comes from the same brain of the man who wrote Slow Horses, which is Mick Herron, of course. So I would call it as a sort of crime thriller led by 2 fantastic female characters. There's an explosion in a suburban street in Oxford, and my character Sarah, who's sort of a nosy neighbour, has suspicions there's some conspiracy at play, something deep state going on. Everyone else kind of thinks she's mad, and she employs a private detective. First, it's not Zoe Boham, but becomes Zoe Boham, who's Emma Thompson's character, and the 2 of them sort of go on a big mission to find out who's really responsible for this.
Okay.
That's the sort of basic story.
It is the basic. So Down Cemetery Road is the title. So Cemetery Road is in Oxford.
Actually, Down Cemetery Road is a line from a Philip Larkin poem, which gets quoted back in the show episode 7 or something, or 6. So you'll see where it comes from. But that's actually a quote from a Philip Larkin poem.
Okay, so you play Sarah. And it starts with a fantastic close-up of you with goggles, and you're an art restorer.
Yes.
Which I think is a great choice because we instinctively know you have an eye for detail. But
yes.
Tell us about Sarah, because she's a fascinating woman, I think.
Yes. It's actually quite different from the books. So Mick Herron wrote these books 25 years ago, and Sarah
That's
Trafford...
before Slow Horses.
Before Slow Horses. They're his first novels,
right.
And this one was his very first novel. And Sarah was a bored housewife. She had no job. She's married to this guy that, you can tell the relationship isn't great. And they haven't got kids. It feels like she's quite purposeless. And so we wanted to modernise, and Morwenna felt it was...
It's Morwenna Banks who's written it.
Who's written it. And she felt we need to modernise Sarah a bit and give her a job at least. So she thought something that would help, as you say, indicate how she might be useful and how she might have a particular eye for detail or spot things or kind of be very observant when others aren't. So, yeah, we gave her a job of an art restorer. But she still has a sort of pretty suburban life and obviously is slightly restless within her life. And as you find out, and there's some trauma that she hasn't really dealt with that is revealed as the show goes on. And that gives justification as to why she sort of might be sort of follow this case or be interested in this case.
Yes, because on the surface, so the explosion happens right at the very beginning during a dinner party which you're throwing for some obnoxious friends. I imagine they stay obnoxious at the end of episode 4. They're still pretty obnoxious as far as I could say. If the explosion happens, people die, the child goes missing and so on. But why would Sarah adopt this as, if she's been rudderless a little bit,
yes,
this becomes her rudder, if that works.
Exactly.
And she becomes obsessed with this.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons, I think. There's a desire, one that gives her a sort of form of purpose. Suddenly there's something she can solve. I think she likes solving things. I also think there's something, again, that this child, she meets a child that she thinks is the child that goes missing. And there's something about that child that reminds her of herself, her younger self.
What is
she is
that?
Somehow lost.
What is that thing?
I think it's a sort of courage. It's a brave, sort of imaginative soul that she has sort of let go of or lost along the way.
I think she says, as in you, the sort of child I used to be.
Yeah. So there's those sort of hints in it as to why this woman pursues this girl or pursues this with such rigour and fearlessness, actually, and recklessness in a way. She's an amazing character because when I first read it, I thought she doesn't really fit in this genre. And there's no real reason why she's pursuing this case. Like, for Emma Thompson's character, Zoe Boham, there's a real reason. At the end of episode 1, you realise why she's pursuing this, a real emotional drive. All the other characters have a sort of real reason to be pursuing this mission or whatever they're doing. Whereas Sarah feels it's a bit oblique, it's a bit strange as to why she's involved, and she doesn't really belong in the genre either. She's like a person like you or me that suddenly finds themselves in a conspiracy theory. I felt that was really interesting material. It's exactly...
Is she a bit lost?
Definitely very lost. Very lost. And as you see as it goes through, you'll see her re-find her younger self, which is I don't know, almost like a raver from the 90s, sort of starts, the things she starts wearing and the clothes she picks up along the way and the freedom she has. And actually, so this is a form of escape from her life. And it also gives her purpose. And it's probably the most exciting thing that's happened to her in a very long time. So I loved the idea that this character was sort of, she doesn't really understand the stakes of the scenario that she's in. And so that's why she keeps recklessly, continually following this path. Because she could drop out at any point. She could go back home at any point. And she chooses not to. So there's something that keeps driving her. And that was interesting, of the mystery of the character and what's sort of propelling her forward.